Hey everybody, this is Scott Aaron from Success Made Simple, a program dedicated to highlighting entrepreneurs, business owners, movers and shakers on how success is not simple, but there are simple steps that need to be taken to make and live the life that you truly deserve. As always, I come prepared each week with amazing guests and business owners and entrepreneurs from all over the area of things that they're doing, missions that they're on, and the visions of what they're looking to create. My guest today is a dear friend of mine, but also someone that inspires so many, and her story absolutely needs to be shared. This is someone that practices law. She is a professor for Rutgers University, but most importantly, she's now had this amazing shift where she's starting her own movement called the Mindset Rehabilitation Coach for Women. And this is something that obviously I really want her speaking on and speaking about because it is a story, like I said, that needs to be shared. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Regina Lawrence to the program. Regina, thank you so much for being here. So everyone that I seem to have on here has a very diverse background. People say what they do for a profession or what they have done for a profession, and then you hear about what they're currently up to or what their passion is now. So before we go into the movement that you're in and working on right now, let's go back to where it all began. How did you get into law? What were some of the early lessons that you learned in life that really started to build the foundation of where you're now moving forward to?
So my journey to being a lawyer is pretty interesting because I didn't come into the practice of law wanting to practice law. I wanted to be a writer and I wanted to be a political journalist. And the best female political journalists I encountered all had law degrees. So on a whim, I was just like, I'm gonna go to law school. And so I really went to law school on a whim. And then in law school, I realized how much I loved the practice of law. I loved the intellectual side of it. And it just was so inspiring to me that I could assist people, I could assist companies, and go into this incredible practice and do something that I never really thought I could or would do.
Right.
And so the journey through being a practitioner and then becoming a law professor led me to realize my own stress and anxiety that I was housing in my life. And coming to the realization that I didn't want to live the rest of my life filled with so much stress and anxiety. Also questioning, I have it all. I went to school, I worked hard, I have an incredible job with an incredible company. I'm a law professor. Why am I so anxious? Why am I so stressed? And so that led me on this journey into myself. How did I get here? What were the experiences that brought me to this place? Why is my neurological response stress and anxiety? And then how do I fix it?
Wow. And it's interesting, stress and anxiety are things that people don't too often speak about. They're kind of just like left under the carpet, so to speak. Early childhood, early life. When you go back, what were some of those early experiences that you had that when you do share your story, you can go back to those things and say, you know what, that was a pivotal moment in my life where something did kind of shift, something did change. What were some of those pivotal moments for you?
I had so many pivotal moments. I am from, very candidly, I'm from a family of divorce, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And when my parents separated, I saw my mother just fall apart. And I had made a decision in that moment that I was going to be strong, I was going to take care of myself, and I was going to work really, really hard to be successful. And so from a child, people talk about their parents putting stress on them to be, and pressure to be a certain way. My parents were so loving and supportive through my childhood and anything I wanted to do. So I put that stress and pressure on myself to be a performer, to be the best. And I was in everything that I did. My family has a joke, if Regina's gonna do something, like she's gonna do it no matter what. And so that was a pivotal moment for me at 13 years old. And from that moment, I really launched into a high performer, but I also launched into stress, anxiety, body dysmorphia, control, all of those things in my life at that young age.
So let's kind of pivot for a second because I followed you on your journey the last few years, and you got into health and wellness, fitness, competing, dieting, all of those things where I'm very in tune with a lot of the images and all of those issues that surround social media, but surround our environments and society, especially with women.
Yes.
There's so much pressure out there for everyone to be perfect and look their best. And so in going through that journey, I remember one of the first conversations that you and I had when we started working together in that aspect. We spoke a lot about relationships with food, and living a maintainable lifestyle. So with a lot of those things that occurred in your early childhood days, and always wanting to look a certain way and be a certain way, going through that journey again later in life, dieting and weighing your food and all those things, a lot of women can relate to this. What were some of the lessons that you learned from that, and where does it leave you actually today with, almost like a newfound respect for it, but more so a newfound respect for yourself?
So for me, coming into that as an adult, going through the body dysmorphia as a teenager, and most teenage girls suffer with some level of body dysmorphia, especially today with social media. And so for me, going through that as a teenager, it was just the pressure of wanting to be perfect, right? Like the anxiety of being perfect in school, but then also wanting to have the perfect body, wanting to look and be a certain way. And then entering into that as an adult, the heart and the root of it was the same for me at 14 and at 28. It was, why don't you love yourself enough? Like, it's not about the food. It's not about the exercise. You can have the greatest dietitian. You can have somebody make all your food for you. But if you don't love yourself at the core of who you are, it doesn't matter how you fuel yourself. And so that has been my biggest adult realization. I can step on a scale now and I see a number and I don't care. When I was a kid, I remember being all through my teenage years, that number affected my mood for the day and for the week. And it really caused me to further loathe myself. But now as a woman, it's just a number, it's just a metric. And it's all because I went on a journey into myself, and I really love myself, for better or for worse.
Right.
I love who I am. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to overcome the body dysmorphia and the way I looked at myself.
I mean, I couldn't agree anymore, because self-love, I find, even today, is one of the hardest things to practice, because we live in a world where people don't just see us in everyday life. They see us on social media, they read our words, they form opinions and things around us, and people don't hold back with how they feel now, because it's really easy to go onto a post and comment and then
click.
And then you're
Yes,
gone.
And then you're gone.
So it's self-love, and I speak on it often, that if you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else.
I always speak on this. The root of so many issues that people have underneath is the fact that they don't love themselves. I have so many friends and people that I work with who suffer from different addictions, food addictions, drug and alcohol addictions. And as they are starting to kick those addictions, so for example, the drug addict that is not consuming drugs anymore, or the food addict who's eating in a normal way, they can fix those behaviors, but at the root, the pain is the lack of self-love. Maybe they had a parent who didn't instill love in them and greatness in them, but the heart of it is the same for all of us. And this is an epidemic in our society, that we have people just walking around dying for love, dying inside. And because we're not recognizing that we need that love, we need to love ourselves first, we're seeking it from partners, we're seeking it from food and from drugs and from alcohol, when really, like, everything that we need is inside of us. We just have to tap into that.
You brought up an interesting point, addiction. Eckhart Tolle, who's one of my favorite authors, he wrote The Power of Now. I was listening to an interview by him, and he was saying that societally people have things that are backwards. He goes, everyone talks about addictions to food, addictions to alcohol, addictions to drugs, addictions to sex, all of those things. He goes, the one thing that we are still not talking about and getting to the root of is what is causing all of those things, which are emotional addictions.
Yes.
He says when you're addicted to emotions, one person will turn to alcohol, the other will turn to drugs, the other one will turn to food or sex or whatever the release is for that person.
Yes.
So if you can get to the root of what the actual issue is, which is typically with everyone, is their emotional response, because when something happens, boom, our emotions kick in.
Yeah.
And then when you remove the emotion and you start thinking logically, that's when you can actually get to the root of whatever the issue is, so you can move past it, learn from it, grow from it, and step into your own power. So we're coming up on a break, so I kind of want to come back from this.
Yeah.
And I want you to talk now, when we come back, about what you've learned from your experiences and how this has led you to the mindset rehabilitation coaching for women, because you've had your own personal experience and now you're sharing that experience and helping others.
Definitely.
So everyone, as always, hang tight. This is Scott Aaron from Success Made Simple, and we'll see you after the break.
A woman without a lot of time.
Whether you're a gourmet cook or just want to eat like one, visit Rostelli Market Fresh, your home for the freshest, locally sourced ingredients to please everyone who loves great food. Our organic meats, quality seafood, and free-range poultry are cut fresh to order. Chefs create culinary-inspired prep foods made fresh every day, which pair nicely with our vast selection of fine wines and spirits. Choose from handmade pastas, artisan cheeses, organic produce, and grocery items, all from the finest purveyors. Rostelli Market Fresh, from our family to yours.
RVN TV is a platform for people of any industry to share their story. Over 285,000 viewers are tuning in to RVN TV shows monthly. We guarantee a great experience that you'll be sharing with everyone you know while increasing your personal and company's brand awareness. But what is your brand? According to Forbes, it's a combination of your logo, your product, your design and feel, and your personality. Did you know that aside from being a guest, we offer even more opportunity to boost your brand? Adding your company logo and website on screen during your interview will allow viewers to recognize your brand instantly. Incorporating images and video clips is another great way to showcase your product during your live segment. Let viewers see how good you really are. And most importantly, there's you and your interview. For less than the cost of a newspaper, direct mail, or a magazine ad, you can leave our studio and within 48 hours have a permanent digital copy of your live segment to link to your social media, embed into your company website, or use in email marketing. Investing in your brand is so very important, and we can't wait to have you as a guest.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write, the ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Scott Aaron from Success Made Simple with my incredible guest, Regina Lawrence. So, Regina, where we left off was talking about one of the most important things that needs to be discussed, and that's the emotional addictions that people have that lead to alcohol and drugs and food and everything else. And I know that you had not so much a personal experience, but this is something that really rings true to you and what you do in your coaching practice. So what's your take on emotional addiction, and how do you personally cope with it and now assist others with it?
One of the things that has happened in our society is that we do not deal with the cause, we deal with the effect. And so I kept meeting people and growing up with addicts who were dealing with the effect, dealing with the alcoholism, dealing with the diet, whatever it was, but they weren't going back to the cause. And so that emotion, that feeling that's underneath the drug addiction or the food addiction, there was a time in your life where you first felt that emotion, and your response to that emotion was to stuff, or was to try drugs, or was to check out in some way. And so something that I do in my coaching practice, which is different than a lot of coaches, is I want to know everything about you. I want to know what your family talked about at the kitchen table. I want to know when you first remember not feeling love and feeling emptiness and wanting to stuff or check out, or how you got there. Because once we understand how you got there, once we understand where it started, then we can go back and we can retrain the brain and we can change the effect once we understand the cause. But a lot of people don't want to take the time and go through the pain to understand how they got to where they are today. But that's where true transformation takes place. And I know that because I went through that myself. I went back with one of the best mindset coaches I worked with, and I dug up my ghosts and I dealt with the issues that were underlying the pain, and that's when transformation took place in my life.
You know, this is just my humbled opinion, not so much fact, but I truly feel that the best coaches come from those that have personally experienced it.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of people that can go out there and they can become a certified coach in whatever they feel that they want to start coaching in. And people ask me all the time, you know, what makes a good coach? You know, what really defines a good coach from an amazing coach? And what I share with them is that, you know, what certifies someone to do coaching is life.
Yes.
When you experience certain things, you know, you and I both come from divorced parents. When you go through that, it shapes you. You can't help the body's natural responses to emotion.
Absolutely.
It's just the way that we're chemically made up. But just like you said, you can be retrained to live in the moment, not be affected by the cause that's driving the effect of the situation. It just becomes something that has happened for you, not to you.
Yes.
But I think the big thing is that why you're so good at what you do is that you can actually relate to your clients. So it's not like someone that is giving advice on how to do something in life. They've never experienced that. They've just read some books on it, and they're now just basically regurgitating what they've read. You're taking your own life journey, your own life experiences, and you've turned that into a coaching practice where other women just like you have experienced maybe not the same exact thing, but emotionally the same things have happened, so you understand how to help those people. So who are some of the people that you've worked, I mean, not names, but like, what are some of the typical things that come up with clients that you have worked with and do work with? What are some of the commonalities that you're seeing come through with a lot of the women that you assist?
One of the biggest commonalities I'm seeing is stress and anxiety and an inability to enjoy life right now and to live a peaceful life. That is the most common thing that I see amongst women. I also see this thing in women where we are feeling like we have to be everything for everyone all the time, and we have no time to be anything for ourselves. So I work with a lot of moms who have children, and they have to be everything for everyone, and self-care is like it's not even a priority, it's not even a thought. And so always taking themselves second is a huge thing that I'm constantly seeing. Comparison. Women, especially in this world of social media, we are seeing these beautiful lives that people are living and these great marriages and these great relationships, and it's #goals. And we are comparing ourselves to other people, their lives, their bodies. And we are not, again, it goes back, there is no self-love. And so when we're seeing somebody who has it all, that's what we think we want. Really, we don't realize that that woman, that beautiful picture, she's probably dying inside too. but she's just taking really beautiful photos. And so those are the three things I am hearing and seeing constantly with my women.
So what are the big shifts that someone comes to you, they're that overworked, underappreciated mom, you know, they have a regular 9 to 5, they come home, they're taking care of the kids, the relationship with the husband isn't great because they're not really having that time, and self-care is a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you, again, self-love, self-care, it's in the same playing field because you have to care for yourself first.
Yes,
To
before you
be
can give
able
to
to,
others.
you can't
Yeah.
give to others if you're always taking from yourself.
Yes.
So a quick tip, you know, for that busy mom that's watching right now or later, and she goes, oh my God, Regina, you're talking to me right now. You know, I am that stressed out, anxiety-driven mom. You know, I'm running my daughter to dance and then my son to soccer, and then I'm coming home to make dinner, and then I am exhausted every single day. What is a simple thing, a tip that person can do right now, literally listening to it right now, to start making that needle go in the opposite direction?
I would tell that stressed out mom that she has to schedule 5 minutes into her day every day for herself. Whether maybe wake up 5 minutes earlier and sit with your cup of coffee in silence and give thanks for those 5 minutes. You have to give yourself a little bit of time. It doesn't need to be a lot of time. You don't have to be killing yourself at the gym or doing whatever, but you require time for you in the silence of your mind. So get up 5 minutes earlier, stay up 5 minutes later, and just you do you for those 5 minutes.
And that's so simple.
So simple.
It's so simple. 5 minutes. People think that, you know, I need a whole day.
No.
I need a girls' weekend.
No, you don't.
5 minutes, like, people don't realize 5 minutes of peace is like 5 years.
Totally.
Just being there in the moment, in your own body, and just, again, I think gratitude and being thankful and being appreciative every single day is such an amazing practice, because positivity is a practice, negativity is a practice.
Totally.
Being grateful and thankful is a practice. Being stressed and anxiety ridden is also a practice.
It's a practice, but we don't realize it because we live in a society where everybody is so anxious. I'm so, and it's like a trendy thing now. Like, I'm so stressed out, I'm so anxious, my life's so busy. I'm so busy. No, this is a choice that you are making. You are allowing yourself to think these thoughts and to live this life. And once you step into your power and realize I have control over the entire course of my life, life doesn't run me. And I'm thankful for the life that I have. I'm thankful for the gifts in my life. Your entire life perspective changes. 5 minutes in the morning saying thank you. And I give thanks every morning for the fact that my bed is so comfortable, for how good my coffee is, for like my cat, like whatever. It can be anything you want, but just putting out that energy of positivity changes the complete outlook of your day.
I mean, positivity spreads. What's the biggest thing that you personally shifted in yourself that it just changed? One, it changed your life. Two, it said, you know what? If I can do this, I can teach others how to do the same thing.
I thrived, so my biggest thing was stress and anxiety. And I thought that that was the way to live your life. I thought that success equaled stress and anxiety. I did not realize until I went through this journey that success can be had in a peaceful, productive body. So changing that mindset was huge for me, and realizing that I was engaging in activities in everyday life that was promoting chronic stress. And so I took a step back and I did a total reevaluation of my life. And I said, Regina, what are non-negotiables in your days, your weeks, and your months to live a happy, peaceful life? So everybody's non-negotiables are different. For me, working out but not killing myself in the gym, non-negotiable. It's zen, it's peaceful for me. A little bit of meditation or reading in the morning or journaling, or all of them if I feel like it, while I'm having coffee for 5, 10, 15, 20, however long I have. Those are my non-negotiables. I'm a better human. I'm a more like peaceful, loving human being in the world. And they make me happy. So those were some big shifts for me.
Again, so simple, and everyone thinks that there's this big misnomer when people are happy and peaceful and vibrating at a different level that they must be doing something. Well, it's not that they're doing something, they're actually being mindful.
Yeah.
of themselves. So before we close out, who is your absolute ideal client right now, that if they're watching this, I know you said moms, but who is that ideal client that you would like to start assisting right now, and how can people get in touch with you?
So my ideal client is a woman who feels like my life is so great, like everything's what I wanted or what it should be, but I'm so unfulfilled. Or I have everything I want, why am I lacking peace? Or I want to move to the next step in development, but I feel inadequate, or I don't know how to do it, or I'm not good enough. Those are my ideal women, because we often think that like you have to have big problems to overcome them. You could have a great childhood and a reasonable, normal life, but still have these underlying situations that have happened that are preventing you from having peace today. And that's what I work with women to uncover. So that those are my big things for who my ideal clients are. And then to find me, I'm on Instagram. I'm at the Reg Law Coaching. And then on Facebook, I'm Regina Angelica Lawrence. And then I have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/the Reg Law fan page.
Awesome. So Regina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
And guys, again, as always, you know, success means something different for everyone. And what I took away from Regina is that success means peace. Success means self-love and self-care, because at the end of the day, if you're not loving yourself enough, if you're not taking care of yourself first, and you are not living in peace, you're not enjoying life to the fullest. So guys, thank you as always for joining me on RVN TV. This is Scott Aaron with Success Made Simple, and I'll see you next week. Bye everybody.